Good evening, everyone. How are we all doing? I think we're all set up here. So I'm not going to wait for everybody to join me live because I know there are quite a few mums who might be settling little ones off to sleep and who are going to be joining me for the replay. So I'm just going to post this comment right now. Excuse my rudeness. Let me pin it. There we go. So welcome, in case you are watching this for the first time. I'm Charmaine Walters. I'm a mum, I'm a night nanny, and I'm a parent educator and sleep coach who's been working here in London for the last 20 years as an early years educator, as a night nanny, and as I said, a parent educator and a sleep consultant. So this week, today is day 2 of the Sleep Deprived Mums Baby Sleep Extravaganza, where I am sharing daily tips to help and support you in helping you to improve your little one's sleep without having to use traditional sleep training. So if you joined me yesterday, let me take off my glasses because I can just see the ring light in it. If you joined me yesterday, you will know that we spoke about the ways in which that we can influence the way our little ones sleep without sleep training. And we discussed a little bit about circadian rhythms. Now, the circadian rhythm are the physical, mental and behavioural changes that happen to yours and your little one's body in a daily cycle. And we can influence the circadian rhythm because it governs, amongst other things, when our babies and us wake and sleep. And if we influence the circadian rhythm using environmental cues and social and behavioural cues too, we can help to set the circadian rhythm, so to speak, if your little one's system has matured, or we can help to encourage the maturation of their circadian rhythm if their circadian rhythm hasn't matured already. So on. So I can see that we've got a few viewers who are joining me live. So do let me know in the comments by leaving me a 1 if you can see and hear me properly, just so that I know that you guys can hear me. So let me drop a 1 in the comments. And if you're joining me live, or if you are indeed watching the replay, do feel free to comment, ask any questions you have. I do get notified after I've been live of any questions that you guys leave, so please do leave me questions. And if you notice in the pinned comment there at the top or somewhere in the comments section, you can sign up for email updates and my mailing list and group updates as well, because that's where I'm hosting and facilitating and posting all the replays of the Sleep Deprived Mums Baby Sleep Extravaganza, so that the mums who are taking part and participating can access all the content over the 5 days super easy and ask me any questions there. So I know some of you have emailed me some questions. Those of you who've emailed me questions already, I've replied. Please do not send me any more questions by email. I can't keep up. I'm encouraging you to join the group and post your questions in there. I know some of you are a little bit socially awkward online, but don't worry about that. I'm trying to create a very friendly environment within the group, so please do feel free to go in there and post your questions. So I want to get on with today's content really quickly. I promised that every video would be 10 minutes or shorter, so I'm going to aim to do that, and I'm already, I think, 3 minutes in. So today's sleep tip is to influence your little one's circadian rhythm, to recognize and understand that it's nighttime. And in order to do that, we want your little one's body to understand. Hi, Charlotte. We want your little one's body and their circadian rhythm to recognize that it's nighttime and that it's time for rest. And one of the ways that we do that is quite similar to how we influence your little one's body to recognize that they're awake. And that's to expose them to light and daylight. And that's what we discussed yesterday. A bonus tip on yesterday's point, where I talked about starting your day at the same time every day, opening the curtains and sort of being very deliberate in the way that you start your day. It's also really important to expose yourself and your little one to broad spectrum daylight as early as you can in the day. The reason for this being is that this is the way of letting your body clock know it's morning, it's daytime, I'm awake. And by doing that, by exposing your body to light, it's a cue, an environmental cue that will help to mature your circadian rhythm and your body clock. Now, the same way we do that at night is to do the complete opposite. We turn off the lights and we make it dark. Now, back in the dark ages, before we had artificial light, we were in the habit of going to bed when it got dark. We were, because it was very expensive to light houses at night, or we'd use candles. So we were used to living in darkness. And what you will find is that when you keep everything dark in the evening, if your little one's if your little one has passed the age of 3 to 4 months and gone past the permanent change in sleep, your little one's body will start to produce melatonin when it gets dark at nighttime. Melatonin is the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. It doesn't make you sleep, but it does make you feel sleepy. Now, if you are in the habit of having a very distinct difference between your daytime and your nighttime behavior, i.e. if everything at nighttime is not only dark, but your behavior is very low-key, the house is a lot quieter, not silent, might I add. Sometimes having a silent house can work against you, in that if the doorbell rings, the neighbour's dog barks, or if you have a siren go past, that can wake your little one. And so you can use white noise to help cancel out any outside noises that you have no power over or no control over. But it is important that you adapt a nighttime mode of behaviour. This is important with babies in that you want them to recognise and understand that it's nighttime, so that when you're doing feeds at night, say for example, some mums are very tempted to turn on the lights, change nappies and be quite talkative and interactive with your little ones. You don't really want to be doing that. You want to keep things very low key. I'm not saying don't speak to your little ones. If you can avoid that, by all means do that. But keep the lighting very dimmed and very low, and keep all interactions very low key and low vibe, if you like. That's the word that I like to use for my parents. Keep everything very low vibe and very low key, and keep things as dark as possible. With toddlers, when it comes to nighttime and helping them to understand night modes of behaviour, not only is darkness really important, but sometimes being non-verbal in your interactions with your toddlers can be a great way of letting them know it's nighttime, we are not talking, it's time to go to bed. It's kind of a great way of non-verbally communicating that nighttime is for sleep. I've had a few messages from mums who are dealing with some toddler sleep issues, and I often say to them that when it comes to helping your little ones to settle at night, once you've gone past the bedtime routine and you've settled them, use non-verbal cues to let them know that it's nighttime and it's time to go back to bed. So for example, if your little one is getting up and habitually coming back into bed with you, and that's something you want to avoid, I often say to parents, speak the first time and say, it's okay, my darling, hold them by the hand and take them back to bed. And then after that, if they are still waking up, you can still respond to them, but do this non-verbally. So for example, they might come into your bed, and instead of you getting up and saying, it's okay, darling, you might hug them to reassure them, but not say anything, and just take them by the hand and lead them back to bed. Sometimes when you're interacting and talking too much, that additional stimulation with older children and younger ones can be enough to wake them up. And what you want to do is make it very clear, non-verbally, it's nighttime, it's sleep time, we're not talking. I have to say this to mums as well. Even if you are bringing little ones into bed with you at night, because sometimes, let's face it, it's the easiest thing to do when you both just want to sleep, still it's important to remain non-verbal, keep it dark, bring them into bed with you. And if you often find, this is something I used to find with my little one when I used to bring her into bed with me, sometimes she'd want to play because you'd be in there, you'd be all in there together, mummy, daddy and her. She'd want to play, she'd want to interact. I'd make it very clear, mummy's not talking, the lights are off, and I'd be closing my eyes and helping her to go back to sleep. So it's very important that you adapt a definite mode of behaviour, both on an environmental level by keeping the room dark, and also on a physical, behavioural, spiritual level, if you like, in terms of the vibe that you're giving off with your little one. Be comforting and reassuring, but being non-verbal is a great way of letting them know it's nighttime, it's time for sleep. And then when you do get in the habit, which you will be doing every day, of course, of starting your day deliberately, that can be a great way of letting your little one know it's daytime, because it's 7 o'clock or whatever time you decide to start your day. You're opening the curtains, you're turning the light, and you're saying morning, and that's when talking and interaction can begin. So if you're doing this from very early on with your little one, right up until their toddler age, it sets a very distinction between daytime and nighttime behaviour. It's also important that when you are transitioning between the two distinct modes of behaviour, i.e. transitioning from daytime and activity, high vibe, high level activity, to nighttime, that you transition that with a bedtime routine. Now, I'm not going to talk about bedtime routines today. I'm going to talk about that later on in the week. Tomorrow, I want to talk about overtiredness. So if any of you have been dealing with frequent night wakings and you're struggling with how to minimize the night wakings and help to reduce that, watch tomorrow's video or join us tomorrow, because what I'm going to be sharing with you is massively important. And if you can get it right, it can really help to reduce early wakings in the mornings and frequent wakings overnight as well, without any kind of sleep training. But it's really important that you join me tomorrow to find out what that is. So what time have I, how am I doing? I think I kept that under 10 minutes. So like I said, today's tip is to have a very distinct mode of behavior at nighttime. Make the environment where you and your baby sleep very dark, so that you can help your baby's body, if they are past the stage or if they have matured sleep cycles, to start producing melatonin, which can help them feel sleepy. An additional note to that, if you do have a little one who has not had their permanent change in their sleep cycles, if you want to know what I'm referring to when I say permanent change, go to my website, soundlysleeping.co.uk, go to the free resources page and watch the 4-month sleep progression video, because I explain everything there. But what I want to say is, if you do have a baby who is under 3 months old, they are not going to be making melatonin by themselves endogenously, intrinsically, internally, so to speak. Their systems haven't matured enough yet, but it is still really important to still introduce darkness overnight and those modes of behavior, because as I said, the circadian rhythm is helped to mature by social cues as well as behavioral cues and environmental cues. And also darkness will become a sleep association for your baby as well. If you are breastfeeding and you have a little one who is under 3 months old, your breast milk will have traces of tryptophan in it in the run up to bedtimes in the evenings. Now, tryptophan is a hormone that is the chemical precursor to melatonin. Basically, it does the same thing as melatonin. It helps to make your baby really, really sleepy. If you are expressing and you decide you want to give your baby express milk, store the express milk that you pump in the evenings, because that's the milk that will have the tryptophan within it. So that's how you can help your baby to feel sleepy if they are pre 3 months or pre the permanent sleep change and they aren't making melatonin within their systems intrinsically by themselves. You can influence them or help them to feel sleepy by breastfeeding them in the evening, because as I said, your breast milk will contain the chemical precursor to melatonin, which is tryptophan. So there was something else I wanted to say, can't remember what it is, so I'm going to leave it there. Right, so thank you so much for joining me tonight. My name is Charmaine Walters. I am a mum, I am a night nanny, I'm a sleep coach. Sorry, I need to remind myself to speak slowly, because sometimes I just bleh and everything falls out. If you're watching this on the replay, I'm really sorry we missed each other. I believe somewhere in this broadcast you can click a link that will let you know when I go live. If you are really interested in this video, if you think anything that I've shared here has been super helpful and you want to share it, please do click the share button, share it on your timeline, or you can share it with somebody specifically. And if you would like to join my mailing list to get email updates for the rest of this week for the Sleep Deprived Mums Baby Sleep Extravaganza, all you have to do is follow the link in the pinned comment or in the title of this video to join the mailing list, and I will send you all the info, all the updates, and that's also where you can get information on where you can join the group, so you can ask me questions there. So also, I'm going to be launching an online experience, a more permanent long-term one, for any mums who are really struggling with how their baby sleeps and you think that you might actually want to do some kind of sleep training. There is more than one way to help your baby learn to sleep through the night, and I am here to help you with that. So if you want to help your baby learn to sleep through the night sooner rather than later, I can help you with that. I can help you understand more about how your baby sleeps, why your baby who is not sleeping through the night is actually normal and not the exception to the rule. And I can share with you the various ways that you can help your babies improve sleep and still breastfeed, still co-sleep and bed share if you want to. Of course, if you don't want to do those things, there are things that I can help you learn to help your baby sleep through the night too. As I said, there is more than one right way to help your baby, one right way to help your baby sleep through the night. And if I can help you and support you with that, I am more than happy to. So as I said, sign up for the email updates to find out when I'm next online, and I will see you tomorrow. As I said, if you have a baby or a toddler who is waking up frequently during the night and this is something you're seriously struggling with, you really do want to join me with tomorrow, because tomorrow's tips are going to help you massively. Take care. See you soon.